Is the PlayStation 5 in trouble? This has been a question that we've been asking for quite some time, from the chip shortages to Xbox winning NPDs for multiple months, all the way to Sony getting billions of dollars wiped away because of the Activision Blizzard deal. There's a lot of things being said about Sony and PlayStation and how they're growing this generation. So let's get into what's being reported for PlayStation and these hard numbers that are being projected for PlayStation for the next year. Hey, what's up everyone? Thanks for stopping by and checking out the video. Remember to hit that subscribe button and that like button. The support is greatly appreciated. And if you want to be notified on future content, hit that small little bell icon. And if you want to go that extra mile to support the channel, hit that join button. So the first thing I want to mention is that these numbers we're going to be talking about are directly being reported by Sony's PlayStation themselves. And these projections are also coming from Sony along with the business analysts that are talking about this. So this isn't rumors, this isn't some leak, it's hard numbers and also hard truths that people might not want to talk about. So let's just get right into these and talk about what's being reported from Sony themselves. $25 billion wiped off Sony this year as chip crunch hits PlayStation 5, Microsoft competition heats up. Sony's shares are down about 13% since the beginning of the year, with about $25.71 billion of value wiped off the company according to Refinitiv data. The Japanese giant cut its full year sales target for the PlayStation 5 from 14.8 million units to 11.5 million units as the global chip shortage has hit production. Investors are also concerned about rising competition to Sony from Microsoft after the US tech firm's proposed acquisition of Activision. Okay, so wow, that's a lot of information that kind of hits you in the face. Let's start off from the top because it's what's most important, which is that $25 billion. That's right, you heard that correctly. $25 billion was wiped off of Sony because of the chip crunch that's happening around the entire industry right now. And not just gaming industry, just the tech industry in general. But other little tidbits about this isn't just about the chip crunch, but it's the heightened competition that Microsoft and Xbox are bringing to the table this next console generation. Which, if you've paid attention to the gaming industry at all, you know that Xbox isn't the same Xbox from last generation. Those days are long gone. We all know the history there, so we won't get into all the details there. Yet now, let's talk about this 14.8 million units cut down to 11.5 million units that they plan to bring out for this full year of sales target. Okay, so to me, that's a very small amount of units to come out in the next year. I mean, they have 19 plus million sold in the last year and a half the consoles have been out. So for them to say only 11.5 million in the next year is a drastic change. Not to mention, it makes investors look at them a little differently because you're not getting as many units out there, which means sales go down, software sales go down, everything looks down. This is obviously because of the global shortage in the semiconductors, and we all know that. But it could also be the yield issue that were being reported from PlayStation and how there was heating issues in making these consoles, which would hinder the amount of consoles they can get out to the general public. Something that's also affecting Xbox, yet they seem to push out far more units than Sony does when it comes to the semiconductors. In fact, this whole thing could affect Sony as a whole, which it has apparently, like the article mentions right here. However, the downgrade prompted a 6% drop in Sony's Japan-listed shares on Thursday. Sony's gaming division posted revenue of 813.3 billion Japanese yen, 7.08 million, a 8% year-on-year decline. The company also cut its sales forecast for the gaming division in its current fiscal year, which ends in March, by 170 billion yen to 2.73 trillion yen. Sony didn't release any big games in quarter 3, December quarter. The company shifted all of its firepower to this year. The market once again overreacts. The swings in stock price are way too harsh, Toto said. Okay, so first off, we know that Sony didn't bring out anything during the holiday season last year. And usually they don't bring games out at that time anyways, at least first party games from what I can tell. But the one thing I'm more concerned about is the fact that they didn't talk about Horizon Forbidden West or Gran Turismo 7 sales numbers at all during their reporting. No record-breaking numbers or anything like that, which Sony tends to do because they love talking about how many units they sold, how many games they've sold, and all of that. They're very number-driven. So while their holiday season last year was terrible and basically barren wasteland when it comes to games, their spring had some big releases, and yet they don't talk about them at all. It's a little weird to see that, especially since Horizon launched on the PlayStation 4 and the PS5 respectively. So they had the fan base and even the units sold in console-wise to match or even exceed the numbers of the first game that released. Maybe it didn't do that, but who knows? I could be wrong. Maybe they report this in a little bit and talk about how great the game is, but so far they're very quiet after 3 months of the game being out. All I know is that from now on, especially this holiday season, the competition is going to get a lot stiffer for Sony because Microsoft is going to bring out a lot of big games. They're going to be far more competitive at the end of this year and going into next year, and we're going to see that at their games show event that starts in June, something that the investors apparently anticipate for Microsoft. Increasing competition with Microsoft in particular has also weighed on Sony stock this year. Last month, Microsoft announced plans to buy Call of Duty maker Activision for more than $68 billion in a bid to bolster its Xbox gaming unit. Sony's stock fell more than 12% after Microsoft's proposal on Fears the US giant, which has trailed its Japanese rival for a long time, will now mount a serious challenge. Okay, so we all know that Microsoft this generation is going to be a far bigger problem to Sony and all other gaming publishers and developers than they were last generation. It's just pure competition that they're going after. And after that Bethesda acquisition, that was just the start of the changing of the guard in the gaming industry. Yet this Activision Blizzard purchase is going to change the face of the industry forever, especially for companies like Sony who rely on third-party publishers, especially Call of Duty games, and more than they will ever admit they rely on. I mean, when Xbox bought Minecraft, Sony reached out to Microsoft to see if they'll make it exclusive to their console because they relied on that revenue stream because the game was so popular. So, see, Sony's stock falling 12% is a huge indication that people have fears when it comes to PlayStation's platform losing the most popular game in the world, which is Call of Duty. And that's something I feel people will start to realize in the long run. While first-party games are important and vital to a console's lifespan, they aren't as important as the massive games like Call of Duty, Fortnite, and of course Apex Legends, and all those other free-to-play games and the biggest games coming out every year. Games like that and Destiny are far more important to a consumer fan base. And Microsoft is starting to build some of the biggest franchises in-house first-party wise. That might be exclusive to their platform. So the question does arise, is Sony's PlayStation 5 in trouble? Well, that's something that's going to be answered in the next several years. Yet if we look at the current state of what's happening across the gaming industry, you can see that Sony is already dropping projections, they're moving down, their stock is going down a little bit, they're also selling less consoles than anticipated, and are also losing some big games they didn't see coming. No matter what anyone says, losing Starfield, Bethesda, and all those games are a massive blow to PlayStation's platform. Potentially losing Activision and Blizzard is another massive blow they probably don't want to see happen. Yet it's a reality they'll have to deal with and fight back against. And don't get me wrong, I already know that Sony is currently the king next to Nintendo when it comes to gaming and consoles. They understand the industry intimately, but like all tech in the world, things change in a heartbeat. So don't be surprised if Sony does look different in a few years. Don't be surprised if Xbox becomes a much larger competitor to PlayStation. And don't be surprised if Xbox continues to win NPDs against the PlayStation 5, because that's what's been happening lately. Xbox has had their foot on the gas, they haven't let go, and we're going to see at their game showcase, we're going to see at the Keighley showcase at that Summerfest, we're going to see a bunch of stuff that Xbox announces. And you know what? Sony has been very quiet. They haven't talked about sales numbers, they haven't talked about units sold, they haven't bragged about anything. All they're doing is saying that they make high quality games that can't go into a service like Game Pass, all because they can't afford it. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with God of War when that releases. That's probably going to be their biggest selling game of the year, far exceeding Horizon Zero Dawn. At least I would think so. So we'll have to see. And that's if that game releases this year and it doesn't get pushed back to 2023 spring, where they tend to release their games. But enough of what I think about all of this. Tell me what you think about all of this. Are you surprised by the numbers Sony talked about? Do you think Sony can recover from some of the lost console sales they've had? Will we see Sony go third-party publisher soon? Can Microsoft make an even bigger change in the gaming industry? Will the Xbox Series X continue to dominate the NPDs? Go down below and let me know. And I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please hit that subscribe button and that like button. The support helps out the channel more than you know. And give me a follow on Twitter at Zalker87. I'm always on there talking games and sharing my latest videos. Plus, I love interacting with everyone there, so get on Twitter and let's talk about gaming. Also, follow me on Xbox Live. My gamertag is Zalker87, just like my channel name. See what games I'm playing, and let's compete in achievements for the month. So right now, like always, I've been jumping into Valhalla. I'm loving that game right now. It's such a massive game, so much fun, so much content in there. And I know some people found it boring because it was too long, but I kind of like those games, you know? You have a little more forgiving combat. You just fight a bunch of mystical stuff. You fight some people in England. You go raid stuff, and you just have a good time. I'm really enjoying the game. And I've also been playing Apex Legends a bunch. The new season just started, so I want to get into that. I want to rank up. I want to get to platinum. I want to get to diamond. I just want to get high up in the ranks because I'm loving that game. I'm going to try to get to master rank this season. I don't know if that's going to happen. I don't know if I'm good enough, but I'm going to be jumping into that a whole bunch. And I've been playing a lot of RTSs like Warcraft 3, Reforged. I've been having fun with that. I know the game launched and it was really hated on, but I'm enjoying myself there. And I'm going to be jumping into a couple Warhammer games because you know what? I'm loving these strategy games right now, and that's what I'm kind of feeling. After playing Elden Ring for like 160 hours on my Xbox Series X, I've been kind of moving over to some of the RTS games that I love to play. I think there's Spellforce 3 that's on Xbox Game Pass right now for PC, so I'm jumping into that. So yeah, let me know what you're playing. Are you guys playing something big? Are you guys playing something on Game Pass? Are you waiting for something? I'm kind of waiting for Sniper Elite 5 to come out on Game Pass. I'll be jumping into that day one because I love those games. Let me know what you're playing. Go down below. Are you on your PS5, your Xbox Series X, or are you on your PC playing something? Let me know because that's what we're here for, is to talk games. And that's all for now. Thanks for watching, and until next time, remember, enjoy your gaming. Later.